We buzzing straight through the glass, kicking down the door fast. Gotta take it, never ask. Ceiling probably never last. We buzzing straight through the glass, living life. All right, man. So I guess, we're going to start it off, Bussin' It Up podcast. This is episode 2, and this is crazy. I'm sitting here, I'm watching this documentary about a guy that is, honestly, man, you're part of American history. And it's really wild to be here with you on the second episode. This is the first time I've ever been involved in anything like this. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast until my man right here to my left, Wayne, told me that he wanted to do something like this. And I never thought when I saw you and when I learned of you, I never thought that I would ever be in front of you or even having a conversation with you. So, it's crazy. But it's actually a monumental moment for me because I got immersed in your story. And I watched many interviews that you've done on many different platforms. I watched this documentary, and I watched just so much content on your life. And it's crazy how many different outlets could just continuously create content off one man's life. Right. That's pretty incredible to me, And let's start it off by something funny, man. You wanted to be a professional tennis player. Now, I find it funny because, like, most young black men today, like, you hear the normal sport is like basketball, football, those types of sports. But your story is just crazy. It's just too many layers of uniqueness because it's like tennis. Like, can you explain more about that? Like, it's so intriguing to me.
Well, I think you just did it right there, uniqueness. Always wanting to be unique, not to be normal, always seeking specialty, looking for my own identity. And I think that once you are seeking those opportunities, then it opened up the door for so many different things to enter into your life. And I think it's kind of been, my story.
We're like so you grew up in LA, right?
South Central
LA. All right. Obviously, the gang culture was prevalent at the time, and in your book, you kind of was involved a little bit with it, correct? Or you was around it, and then you found your escape through tennis.
Right. I never gangbang. I never considered myself a Crip. I kind of got lucky because, like you said, I picked up tennis at around 12 years old, and that kept me out of the community where the gang stuff was so prevalent and so popular until I was like 18, 19 years old. And at that time, I was a little wiser, and I was able to look back and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to be fighting.
Right.
For no color or no street.
Because you didn't see the benefit in that.
I didn't see the benefit in it.
That's amazing that you could have that much foresight and everybody's so immersed in it around you. And was there anybody else that you would say that if you had to look back into your childhood that had a similar thought frame that you did when it came to that particular culture and just...
Well, they started to pick it up from me. Once somebody see another person doing it, then they have a tendency to start to pick up on those same qualities. It's funny how life is, when people see what they consider success, they have a tendency to follow in that path. And that's kind of the way things are going right now in the black community.
Yeah.
What our young people consider success is what the rappers are talking about.
Right.
Popping pistols.
Yes.
Selling drugs, taking mollies. They see those things as success because the rappers look so successful.
Right. And the rappers have all the success from their craft. And
they look successful.
Well, yeah, they look very successful. They get the bright lights, and that's kind of what people always attribute to success to.
I agree.
And my bad. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to ask you, since you came up wanting to play tennis is that over other sports? Or did you do other sports as well?
I played other sports too. I played everything. I was a pretty decent athlete in football and basketball.
Okay.
baseball. The problem is that I didn't get really tall.
Oh, okay.
I was a short guy. So when it was at our junior high school, was a lot of athletes.
Right.
And when the high schools came down recruiting, none of them talked to me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild, man.
So now, like today, is your love for tennis still the same? Like, do you watch it, coach it, or?
I coach it.
Okay.
Yeah, I coach it.
Really?
I got 2 young pros I'm working with right
Okay.
now.
Really?
Okay.
Really? You want to give him a shout out right now, or?
They not gonna hear it. They too young. You know what I'm saying? They too young, but I'm working with 2. You know, I'm gonna do the. I had the same vision that Serena and Venus's daddy had.
Oh, okay.
My problem is that I allowed myself to go to prison.
Right.
And he didn't. He stayed with his
Right.
daughters, which is where I went wrong. You know, I had a nephew that was at 12 years old was getting more notoriety than they were. At 12 years old, they all the same age.
Wow.
And he still works out with Serena right now from time to time. He was nationally ranked. He was ranked number 1 in the 12 and unders. They did a national TV show on him called The Crusaders, where he worked out with Michael Chang and Jimmy Connors and some of the great tennis players.
Wow.
What they did is they found like 4 or 5 people that was ranked number 1 in California in the 12 and unders. He was ranked number 1, so they were all in the same position at one time.
Right.
And, you know, Michael Chang said, yeah, I used to be ranked number 1 in California.
Right.
And, you know, Jimmy Connors said, yeah, I was ranked number 1 in California. And they had these guys to come on there and talk to him about, you know, his ranking and whatnot. The problem is that he got a scholarship to go to Bollettieri's, and his mom and dad didn't take it.
Wow.
Venus and Serena got a scholarship to go to another tennis academy in Florida.
Right.
They took it.
Yeah.
And
There goes their story, and there goes. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, because in tennis, you know, tennis is a tough sport.
Yeah.
And I believe that tennis gave me my edge in the drug business.
Yo,
You gotta explain that.
yeah, you got to tell me how you correlate that.
Well, tennis, you got to be dedicated to tennis.
Yeah.
You know, you can't
You can't slack a day, right?
you can't be slacking. And tennis players don't get days off. You
Yeah.
know, like basketball, they play 6 months a year, and then tennis players don't take days off. You know, you can't stop running your 5 miles.
Right.
So when I got into the drug business, I've been doing this regimen. You know, 3-4 hours every day practice, running my 5 miles. You know, every other day doing wind sprints. And then when some of the pros would come down, I would go work out with them, and they workout was crazy. You know.
Wait, this was all while you were still running?
No, this is when I was in high school.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, because if you were doing that while you were still doing that,
No, this is when I was in high school.
Okay, my bad.
But what I was getting at is that this regimen became my drug regimen.
Oh, okay.
So when I started selling drugs, my friends, say for instance, my friends, we would be out working and it started raining. And they ready to go in.
Right.
And like, a little rain, we mop the tennis courts off. You know, when a little rain come, we mop the tennis courts off.
Yeah.
It's a great movie came out. They going to the movie theater.
Right.
I stay out on the block. So it got to the point to where my money had outgrown theirs. And what I was saying is that the discipline, the hard work that I learned from tennis,
You applied.
You translated that.
I translated it into the drug business.
Wow. That is amazing.
Which is pretty much what I do right now.
So you're taking that and you're putting it into a different focus.
Now I took my drug
And applied.
business, and I applied it to the law library. You know,
Right.
when I was in prison, I couldn't read or write. I took that same focus and I applied it to reading. Then I applied it to learning the law.
Right.
You know, I would do law 18 hours a day. I didn't have nothing else to do.
Right.
You know, I ain't watching TV. I don't play cards. You know, I don't have no girlfriend. You know, my girlfriend, they all left. They say, oh, you get life sentence, they gone.
Yeah.
They stick around for a little, then they start fading away.
Yeah, about a month.
That's crazy.
You didn't even get a year. Huh?
Yeah, about a month.
Yo, that's crazy. So basically,
After they say no bail.
I know.
It's over from there.
It's like it's no hope.
Yeah, after they say no bail, oh, no girlfriend.
Man. So you basically you got your work ethic from being a devoted tennis player.
I think so, yeah.
A young black devoted tennis player coming from where you come from.
Right.
Rough upbringings. So today with tennis, are you trying to? You said you're raising 2 pros right now, right? Are you involved in the tennis community now in your area where you're from, or at any
Well, I've
form?
already had a great hand in the tennis in my community because the guys who taught me how to play, I made it so that he can keep the tennis courts that he has, his tennis shop. So technically, I've had a great hand in tennis already. Matter of fact, he runs Venus and Serena's tennis camp in LA, and he's probably the greatest. He's probably done more for black tennis than anybody alive other than Venus and Serena, because what I mean by that is by them being on TV, they probably made it more attractive to more people. But as far as teaching people on the street, nobody can touch him.
Wow.
No, he's never had nobody to get ranked higher in the top 100 in the world, because I don't believe that he understands how to take it to the next level. But for us getting people in college and high school tennis, hands down, he's probably the best dude that ever did it.
So in your opinion, who's the best tennis player today? Male or female? Well, I guess you got to separate it a little bit.
Female, Serena is going to probably wind up being the greatest
I think
the
she's
greatest pro until my pro comes out.
You gotta shout him out. You gotta shout him out.
Yo, shit, Rick.
They gotta get shout out,
baby.
Until Jordan Ross comes around, Jordan has some advantages that Serena didn't have.
Okay.
When I first met Serena and Venus, they were what we call tennis hacks.
Okay.
They didn't understand the fundamentals of tennis.
Right.
Great athletes, though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about run all day,
You
was
could tell they're
fast.
built for it.
Yeah.
So what happened with them is when they got the scholarships, their dad didn't know tennis. Mr. Williams, he didn't know tennis when we used to be at the tennis tournaments together and stuff like that. He didn't know tennis.
So how was he training them? Because didn't he say he was a very outspoken guy?
He went to one tennis lesson, like a group tennis lesson, and the guy that I'm telling you who taught more people in tennis than anybody else gave him one lesson.
Wow.
And he felt that was all he needed. They got lucky, though, and got those scholarships. Because in tennis, you can be a great athlete, but if you don't understand the fundamentals of tennis, the strokes, the forms.
They're not trying to teach you that on a collegiate level.
If they will, it's too late then, though.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to get this at a young age.
Everybody else is already doing it.
They already doing it.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, she already has pro form.
Right.
When you see her, I put a racket in her hand at 4 months old.
Wow.
That's pro number 1, by the way, guys. We're going to get to pro number 2. We're going to find out who's pro number 2.
And I started to teach her the form because I knew the form.
Right.
I had the form. I knew it. I mean, when people see me play, I charge people in prison $30 an hour to teach them how to play tennis.
Wow.
What? Yo, you are a hustler for real, bro.
Yes.
So you had brothers,
and this is in prison.
So you figured out a way to influence brothers in the prison to want to play tennis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's crazy. I don't know how.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Everybody's
not
in
brothers, but the Mexican cartel, the Colombian cartel. Those are guys had the $30 an hour. The brothers didn't have $30 an hour. Right. Homie, straight over. They didn't have
the Mexicans had the bread in there. Hey, they was running it.
So it came down to the fundamentals of the sport, and I don't believe that Serena and them had it in the beginning. Okay. And that's probably why Serena was better than Venus, because when they got to the camp, Serena was much younger than Serena.
Right.
And she was able to get the fundamentals at a much younger age. I broke down the tennis thing all the way down to muscle memory, muscle training and toning. I believe that when you start at a young enough age, your muscles condition a certain way and they grow a certain way, and this allows you to have better energy, more strength than a person who starts at 14 or 12 years old. They're not going to have that same type of muscle memory and muscle development. I did a lot of mind books when I was in prison. You know, I went to prison illiterate, but I didn't come out that way.
I hear that. I know that's right.
I read over 300 books, a lot on the mind, and, you know, I read books where they talked about stuff like if a human being is put in a cold environment, his hair will start to grow, and he will get hairy in order to cope with the cold.
That's why those dudes in Iceland are so big in hair.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
The
and
big
if you're in
Viking
the desert, your body will stop growing hair to keep you cool.
Yeah.
So what that told me is that our body and our mind is so equipped that it will do things to help us in whatever endeavor we go into if we let it.
Wow.
It's funny that you bring that up because I noticed that you've been talking to a lot of young kids. And you get into them when they're really, really young, and you're telling them your story, and not only are you telling them your story, you're telling them the things that you learned from your life story, and in trying, I almost see it because I watched a lot of things too, whatever could be captured on film, and I was listening to the words that you were saying, a lot of the things that you were saying, and it's funny that we talked about tennis. We talked about the work ethic that you were able to develop from it, the dedication, and a lot of that comes from you as well. You know, you have to be born with a certain level of dedication, and then
Nah.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Really?
You can develop dedication,
but that's where you come in with the youth. You can help. You can help develop that within them through you, vicariously through you, because the way you verbalize everything you went through.
Well, if we don't know that we can develop certain skills, then we'll feel like we can't develop them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You'll be like with me, I never tried to read because I thought I was dumb.
Yeah.
So when we start to tell our kids, oh, you're going to be like your daddy. Your daddy wasn't nothing. You know, or they hear from somebody, oh, your mama ain't nothing, this person ain't nothing, then that starts to sink into them, and they start to become that which you've told them that they are.
Right.
And they'll start to live out those traits, you know.
Kind of speak it into existence.
Yeah, speak it into existence.
Manifest that. That's why I think, you know, as parents, we, you know, this is just like the fundamentals of being a parent.
Venus and Serena daddy.
Yeah.
He was telling everybody they was going to win Wimbledon. They used to say, you crazy. Them two girls going to win Wimbledon?
Right.
With their strokes?
when you think about Venus and Serena's pop, and you look at LeVar Ball, do you see any similarities? I know there's a lot of differences, but he seems to me to be like, you know, the 2018 Venus and Serena's dad though.
I mean, I like balls. I love what he's doing. I like him. You know what I'm saying? I think that what he's doing is defining the norm. You know, I hear guys like Charles Barkley talking about he's exploiting his kids. Well, Charles didn't say anything when Nike was exploiting him.
Right.
And he doesn't say anything when the NCAA exploits all these kids on all fronts, on all levels of sports. But when you see a guy like LeVar Ball, when Lonzo was in UCLA, and he said, my boy's going to the Lakers, I was like, this dude is tripping. But look, he's in the Lakers.
I think he's a hell of a dad. He puts a lot of pressure on his
and
kids.
He put a lot of time in him too.
Yeah, so it's like we could look at it and say, oh, he's out of hand. Like he need to shut up. But that's their dad. Like if he built them for this. So if we could say, yo, he put a lot of pressure on them, then and they already built for that pressure, they don't feel the pressure.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they've been going through this whole time. So they don't feel like no pressure is on them. That's why when you question Lonzo, he said, oh, it's just my dad.
Yeah.
Like he just brushes it off. I'm gonna keep playing basketball though.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep shooting them 1,000 jump shots that I've been shooting all my life.
Exactly. My dad can talk whatever he want to talk.
So when your kids get a little bit older and they're ready for the pros, are you gonna be like another LeVar? What's up? We about to see part 2 in tennis?
Well, I don't think that I'm gonna be as outspoken as he is. My kids will probably have their own clothing line, you know, much younger than that, because I'm gonna be in a different position than what he's in. I believe, you know, I believe with my skills right now that I'm hard to touch. You know what I'm saying? It's not many people have been through what I've been through this living.
Right.
You know, how many people made $3 million a day, went to prison, had to sleep on concrete floors,
Right.
had to use steel toilets, you know what I'm saying? 3 meals a day, turn your lights out when somebody else tell you to. So I went from super high to super low.
Right.
One of my lawyers who me and him went to a lot of meetings, you know, and we met some of the most powerful guys in Hollywood, Ori Emanuel, Jeff Burrs, and he was telling me how in the room he could see how these guys had a respect for me that they don't give to other people.
Right.
And he was saying that it was probably because I have been just as high as they are and lower than they can ever go.
Right.
You know, when you had those type of lows and those type of highs, nobody has experienced that.
Right.
And it's an experience that, you know, people ask me all the time, how do I feel about going to prison? But, you know, my prison experience is something that I wouldn't get back if I could.
Right.
Is it made? I feel like your prison experience. I don't mean to cut you off, man. It's funny you bring that because like your prison experience. It's crazy because like I look at this parallel, and I remember you were saying something. I watched a lot of your stuff. So you were saying something in the interview. You were saying when you first got introduced to cooking up, there was a brother that there was a brother or brothers that you knew, and they were showing you this different way of dealing with the coke. Am I mistaken? Am I right about that?
No, they did. Yeah.
So, first off, I was always amazed. Like, how the hell did they figure out how to make crack? Like, how the hell did they say we're gonna take this? Because when I was younger, right? Everybody used to tell me in the 90s, yeah, man, there was a scientist that got with the CIA. He went to the hood and he told this group of brothers, this is what you do. Because ain't no way nobody in the hood is thinking about making crack. How the hell are they going to think? So we just assumed there was some people in lab coats.
I don't believe that.
Right?
Yeah. You know, I don't believe that there was no brothers in the hood that was thinking about it. No, there was brothers in the hood that experimented every single day.
Right.
You know, I know guys that was their mission to find out how to cook crack better. Wow. You know, they had guys that they made their living strictly on just cooking for other people. Like you would bring your stuff to them and they would cook it up for you.
Was you doing that for at a period of time when you
Not
first
for other
started?
people.
No, just for yourself then.
No, for me. I mean, I had too much. I couldn't cook my own.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, I needed help cooking mine. But that's how I knew these guys that did it because they would come over sometimes and they would cook for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know that this is all they did all day long was experiment. You would go over their house and they got a drawer over here like this and a drawer over here. You know, they cooking with Procaine and they Novocaine and this one melt at this level and these guys have become scientists basically.
And then somehow they figured out one day baking soda.
Well, I'm not sure that they're the ones that figured it out, but I'm saying that there were black guys that was trying to figure out different methods of cooking it.
Right.
And I don't know if it was a black or white or Spanish. I don't know who it was who figured it out, but I'm telling you that you can't count black guys out of the equation because they were involved in it heavily. You know. Now, we didn't bring it over to the country, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. It might have been a couple of us, you know, that got in the airplanes, you know, for the Army. You know, you never know what we done did because we some remarkable people.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we've done some remarkable stuff, man. I had the privilege of sitting down with Reginald Hutland one day. I don't know if you know who Reginald Hutland is, but Reginald Hutland is the president. Used to be the president of BET.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The Hutland brothers. And he was telling me about a story about a guy that was a slave, and this is a movie that he wants to do, and I'm hoping that he allows me to do it with him. This guy was a slave, then they put him in the Union Army. This guy snuck over to the Confederates, stole a ship, and sailed it back to the Union.
Yo.
How do you steal a ship?
Why isn't that story? So that story isn't told.
It's not told yet, but you know, it's a lot of stories about us not told yet. You know, we loaded with stories because if why my story ain't told yet?
Right. Absolutely, because your story is just a web of endless.
Why did I have to publish my book myself?
Right. Right.
My bad. Yeah. So we go to we go from the. You learn about this new way of working with coke. You cooking up and you learn that, and then we'll fast forward, we'll skip because your story's big. But there's a lot of different weird things that I want to touch on that just stood out to me. You go to prison now, and there's somebody in there, and I'm pretty sure you came to this conclusion yourself too. But there is somebody that you said that was helping you with learning how to read, right?
Right.
That was helping you make the cue cards that you was walking around and practicing with.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that person that you confided in, that you befriended?
Absolutely. Farrell Rooks.
There we go, because I never heard that name.
Farrell Rooks. A guy, he worked, his job was, he ran the rec department. He was an inmate. He ran the rec department. He was my cellie. And he convinced me that I could learn how to read.
Wow, so he convinced you.
Is he still incarcerated?
No.
Okay.
He was a short timer.
Oh, okay.
He was one of those guys that had used crack at one time and had robbed a bank.
Wow.
You know, to keep up his crack habit.
Wow. Are you still in contact with him today? Here and there?
Yeah. We still friends.
Right.
That's awesome, man. That's dope.
Yeah. We still friends.
That's dope.
We don't talk. I don't talk to nobody every day, man. I got like 12, 13,000 phone numbers on my phone. You know, I'm overloaded, overworked, underpaid. I need a raise.
You gonna get it. You gonna get it.
Y'all give me a raise.
Muscle, man.
Yeah.
What was the feeling like? You said you made like $3 million. I said $1,000. $3 million a day. What was that? Can you describe that feeling? Or did you know?
I mean, you know, when you're making money, once you get enough money to where you have everything that you feel you want,
right?
Then the money just becomes part of the game.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's not about the money.
Right.
And that's why I'm able to function the way I function now, because it's not about the money.
Right.
See, I don't work for money.
Right.
The money is just a trophy.
Yeah.
You know, after you do the work. Oh, you did a good job, so we're going to pay you a lot of money.
Right.
You know, oh, you did a lousy job, so you get lousy money.
Right.
Yeah.
But right now with me, it's just a matter of just putting in the work.
Right.
And then I know that once I put in the work, that the money will start coming, and that's really what I'm doing right now, just putting in the work.
Speaking of putting in the work, you have a guy that rolls with you, I guess road manager or whatever. Am I speaking too much? Whatever it might be, whatever. That rolls with
You
you.
talking about Echo?
Yeah, I forgot his name. I don't know. It's like, no, my man Echo. Like right here from York. You got a guy that's right here from York.
Man, I met Echo here about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And you know, we've been tight ever since. He been riding with me, you know, since that first day. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks later, you know, he got on the road with me, and we just been riding, man, and you know, he learning.
Right.
Yeah.
He learning. And sometimes it's a struggle, though, you know. One of the toughest things I notice about people is breaking habits.
Right.
And when I say habits, you got to break the way they think.
Right.
See, because once you think something is a certain way, and that's yours, and you own it,
right.
You don't want to get that up.
Right.
That's mine.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, in order for us to grow, we have to let go of things that we believe.
Right.
When I was in prison, I was fortunate enough to get a hold to a book, and this book was called Think and Grow Rich. And in this book, the author asked me, could I believe that everything that I think could be wrong? And you know what I did? I said,
Deep as hell.
I said, yeah, I can do that.
I wasn't ready for that.
Right.
I can deal with everything that I know could be wrong.
Right.
Everything that I think about life could be wrong.
Right.
You know, like he questions, why do people cry at funerals? In some countries, if you cry at a funeral, they'll stone you.
Really?
It's like is it disrespect? Like,
Yeah, because they say you jealous.
Yeah.
Because this person is going to see God.
Right.
Now, why are you crying?
Makes sense.
You mad because you didn't get to go.
Right.
So you know, just things like that. You know, how we should dress, what kind of car we should drive. You know, how we should just look at everything, you know, and it just made me start questioning everything around me.
Right.
And
I think it's funny that you say that, because I feel like that translates to the climate overall today in the country, countries around the world. Just, I don't like talking about politics, but when it comes to politics in general, it just seems like nobody knows what is the right, what is wrong, what sources to get information from that are actually reliable, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is a reliable? I ask that question often to myself. I ask, what constitutes a reliable source? You know what I'm saying?
You got to be a critical thinker.
Exactly.
That's the only way that you can figure this thing out, is you got to be a critical thinker. You got to sit down and say, okay, what is in this for me?
Right.
How does this benefit me?
Right.
And my family, and then my community, and then my country.
Right.
But first, how does it benefit me? Because if it doesn't benefit you, it probably don't benefit nobody else.
Right. That's true. Speaking of community, what's the importance to you? Like, just speaking, I know the importance to you, but like if you what's the importance? I don't know, I'm trying to get it out right. Like in a way of, like if I asked you, what's the importance to you of giving back to the community? Because you speak of community. What's the importance of you today? Coming from who you was.
That's easy. That's
what's the importance
easy one,
today?
Because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if your community is weak, you weak.
Right.
That's why when I see, you know, and they talk about, you know, the Jay-Z's and the Oprah Winfrey's, and I just shake my head.
Right.
Because their community is weak.
Right.
So that makes them weak. Even though they don't consider themselves part of the community until it's time to sell tickets and you know, and
get some album sales.
Yeah, get some album sales, and then they come to the community.
Right.
But other than that, they don't mess with the community, and I believe that they've forgotten that the community is part of their link. That we are all linked to them, and they're identified by us. Yeah, you might be accepted to certain places, but in the end, you one of them.
Right.
So you think that they essentially, and I'm sorry to cut you off, you think essentially like they kind of exploit our culture and us just as much as the people that we've originally...
They don't exploit it because they don't own nothing. I don't think they have anything. I don't think they really have no money.
Wow.
You know, when you look at, okay, a man that's worth $600 million, what could he do with $600 legitimate dollars for our community? True. And where do we have any type of factory? Let me say this here. Let me say it like this here. I believe that if you get so rich that you're supposed to have businesses, even if you don't make no money off of them, just because they feed the hood.
Yo, that's real, man.
See, I have businesses in the hood that I didn't get a dime off of.
Right.
But the hood ate.
Right.
So when a person like Jay or Oprah or Diddy come up with their revolt and their own network and their title, and they're saying, we're giving back to you guys. This is your platform. We need to bring, you know, all of you guys to the forefront and have you own it. What do you think about stuff like that?
Well, how does it benefit the hood? Who did they hire? Right. You know, how many of the people from the hood got a job? I mean,
or even developed.
With me, you know, the way I look at it, and as soon as I get back up, I'm gonna get to show all of them. You know, because this time I don't have to hide.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna have to hide my money and hide who I am. I will put businesses in the hood that loses money, but the hood got paid.
Right.
Because when you do that, you're generating income for the hood.
Right.
And I'm already rich. I already have, you know, somebody told me the other day, they said, man, I want to buy you something for your birthday. I said, how can you buy a man something for his birthday? They got everything that he wants.
Right.
I don't want anything. I'm just having fun. You know, what I do now is fun. Selling books, educating the kids, talking to them. I don't take that money and go shopping with it.
Right.
You put it right back.
I put it right back into the hood.
Respect.
So, I like that idea because it's like, when I think about what you said, putting the businesses that won't make any profit, but it's benefiting the people in knowledge and structure. Like, similar to the structure that you were able to stick by throughout your whole life in so many different aspects of life.
I wanted to correct you real quick. I don't even think that it's an idea. It's almost like a principle.
Right.
An idea is an idea, but principles, putting it in yourself and actually making it happen. Rules, and that's what's hard. He was saying earlier, that just meeting people, like when he met me, like he realized that it's just hard to take the certain things out of people. You know what I mean? So then you have to install them principles into you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What did you what speaking on that? What can you say that you learned from being around Rick every day that you didn't have in your everyday life, in your everyday thought process? What did you pick up from being around this man?
Credit.
You learn credit.
Credit. That's serious. Yeah. Definitely credit. Yes. One. I learned a lot from Rick. Just the whole experience, man. The principles, learning ways of life. You know what I mean? Learning that your friends, oh man, it's so much. Learning who your friends are. Learning what you have to do in life. Learning just staying focused.
Right.
Not worrying about what other people think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, it's a blessing.
What's the experience? I know you appreciate the experience of being able to travel all over. Not to say you never did before, but you follow your social medias, and you're in Cali. Next week you're in Atlanta. Next week you in Iceland.
Yeah, the experience is great. The experience I never experienced before.
Right.
I never experienced before, and it's a great feeling. You know what I mean? I'm in Chicago. I'm in ATL. I'm in Texas.
Right.
I'm in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas in my life, and I ended up going to Vegas 3 times up in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I'm like, Dad, you got me in Vegas 3 times in 2 weeks. I've never been to Vegas not one time. You know what I mean?
That's a blessing.
I'm meeting the greatest people in my life.
Right.
I mean people that actually owns Solar Planet. I don't even know what that is. I don't even care about people that actually own it. That's amazing though. Being around this guy, just so I'm with the Will I Ams.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Just being with Rick is just I don't know. It's just amazing. It's a blessing.
I wanted to bring that up because like I don't know if you think about this when you traveling with him, but like you carrying this don't happen to people from Europe. Yeah. Like you don't get to be around a guy with this type of status and really go all over the place. Nobody from York really gets to do that consistently.
Nobody really,
you know what I mean?
The world really, yeah.
Right. So for y'all to come back and just be here, like you rubbing shoulders with everybody. Look, I just watched this man on Breakfast Club, Hot 97, Vlad TV, and then now this is the second episode of Bussin' It Up TV, and my views ain't even up, and I'm right here brushing shoulders. You know what I mean? Like that's genuine.
It's having a blessing, you know what I mean? He teaches me. Now, although as I'm meeting these people, try to utilize them, you know what I mean? Don't just meet them and then that's it. You know what I mean? Try to utilize these people, try to make money, you know what I mean?
Right.
And this is what he teaches, so at the end of the day, when it comes down to YC, when it comes down to Central PA, it's only right that I bring him back. It's only right that we try to bring back what's real.
Right.
And he's what's real.
Right.
So it was a blessing for me to meet a guy like him, to bring him back here to y'all.
Definitely, I appreciate it.
And not just to bring back for the community, because at the end of the day, we have kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I have kids. You know what I mean? We're getting older, and York is out of control.
Right.
So everyone, and it's somebody has to lead and take that responsibility.
Definitely.
Rick is across the world, speaking to the kids, educating everybody, and that whole energy need to come here. You know what I mean? That's why we have April, my sister, April Kyler, you know what I mean? Yeah. She tried to organize things with Rick, and we here to try to make that happen. You know what I mean? Definitely. So, it's just a real blessing to actually have him here with y'all.
Definitely.
So.
We would definitely appreciate it.
Doing the autograph signing, doing the book, doing the barbershop tour. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody up in YC too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Rick, I have a question for you, man. Because you seem like, you seem like you think real deep. And I could see you being someone that likes to set up scenarios in your head and try to work through them. If I'm not, I do that.
Absolutely.
Because I can see that. Because I do that also.
They call that planning.
Simple as that, right?
I have a question for you, man. And it gives me chills when I ask this question, man, for real. You ever sat back sometimes, man, and just thought, like, how do we change, how do we break the cycle? How do we instill, how do we create a new generation of thought? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, Echo mentioned something towards the end of what he just said. And he said, this city needs it. This city is in bad shape right now.
Well, America needs it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it looks like, it's just the blacks who need it. But the reason is so much focus on us because we've always been in a bad position in this country. We've always had a high unemployment rate, and right now unemployment rate is skyrocketing. But what I believe is going to happen is that it's going to start affecting other people in ways that they have never experienced before. And they're not going to be able to handle it as good as we've been able to handle it because we've been under this depression for so long that, okay, we be depressed, but this is just how it is.
What else you going to do to us?
You know, it's crazy that you say that, man, because, you know, I'm looking at the opioid crisis right now, and I see a lot of it affecting young, rich, white kids. And I don't mean to sound specific. I'm pretty sure it's affecting all races. But what's interesting?
It's affecting them in greater numbers than anybody else.
It's interesting, man, because like my mom, she lives in Staten Island. My dad and my mom live in Staten Island, and I remember having a conversation with my mom like 2 months ago, and she was telling me, she's like, "Yo, man, it's really getting bad out here with these kids up in Toad Hill, which Toad Hill is a rich area in Staten Island." All the rich people live on the top of the hill, and they look down at everyone else, like literally. So she's like, man, all you see up and down the main avenues over there in those high-income areas is recovery centers. That's all you see. And you're hearing about these young kids getting high on pills, then, you know, they're getting on heroin, and they're robbing their own people, their own moms, and they don't know how to deal with it. And they're wilding out. And they're stealing cars, they're stealing purses, they're stealing from their neighbors because everybody's rich around them, so they have an abundance of people to steal from. And they're not expecting that from their own people up there. And I'm like, and what is it like down in, you know, in New Dorp or, you know, West Brighton, all the lower income areas? She's like, you don't see that. You don't see that with the young black youth and some of the
because we've experienced it already.
So and we're watching them go through.
So what you're saying is absolutely, and I pay attention to the statistics on that as well, and it's all over the country. It's not just in one particular area. Ohio, I think, is like the leaders in ODs, and it just go from Indiana. I mean, all over the country they're having that problem. But I believe all that is going to stem from them not having the principles that they're supposed to have. And like Echo was saying earlier, you know, we have to develop these principles within ourselves so that certain things we just don't get involved with.
I just find it funny how when the black community and the minority community went through their drug epidemics of many different sorts, when Congress or politicians or anybody who's involved with the United States government, when they talk about it in these press conferences, they're talking about we have to fight against this, we have to fight against that. And when I see them talking about the opioid epidemic and they're having all these highly produced, you ever seen it? Like Governor Wolf did this highly produced commercial, we need to help. Wait a minute, but when it's with us, we gotta fight.
Not lock them up.
But when it's with them, we gotta help. Wow.
Yeah, not lock them up.
I just find it so
not
funny.
Not the war on drugs.
No, right? It's crazy, man. It's just crazy how the parallel is, and just how when it affects them, it's all about helping them, and there's all these recovery centers, and when it was with us, it's just like, you know, just keep them there and let them do it. They'll figure it out. And I think now, I know it's hard for a lot of people to see it, but I feel kind of like we're starting to figure it out a little bit. Little by little by little by little by little. Do you feel that same way about it?
Well, absolutely. When you're on the bottom, you know, Richard Pryor said it. When I'm on the bottom, the only way from here is up.
That's right.
You know, so we've been on the bottom, so there's no other way for us to go. Right. You know, we've been as low as you can go, and that's what I was telling you about myself when I deal with those people. I've been on the lowest low. You know, I slept on concrete floors in rooms with the size of this with 30 people in it, you know, crammed in. And, you know, some of them hadn't took a shower in weeks. And the toilet is right there. So if one used the toilet, everybody smell it. I've been through that. So the only way for me from here is up. You know, I can't go no lower than I've been. And I think that's the situation with the black community. You know, we've hit rock bottom.
I want to share something too, man. I mean, me coming from the East Coast, me being up in York, PA, I think that the mentality, and I, you know, like Rick said, I don't think that it's just a small town. I think this is like all across the country, but it's a mentality of stuckness, of like getting nowhere. And when you have people that don't have the principles of getting nowhere, you're going to follow that.
Right.
So that's why nobody's getting rich, because you're around everybody that don't have the principles, or don't even want to actually see you get there.
Right.
You know, being with Rick, my first day with Rick Rick said, Echo, everybody you meet get their contacts. I understand that. And you have to hear me, and this is very important because I wanted to say this to everybody. Rick said, Echo, you get everybody contact, everybody you meet. And I said, huh? I can't get everybody number. He don't listen to me. I don't care if you're with me or if you ain't with me. Something happened to me, you should be able to look on your phone and dial a number and make money.
Right.
I said, well, Rick, where I'm from the rich poor and Alpo era. We don't tell our peoples to how I connect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you even ask us, we're gonna get you like you crazy.
Right.
But he was like, well, that's just wrong mentality. Nobody gonna win. Yeah. So being with a man like that, my thinking is different. The way I do things is different. And now when I come back here and I see certain mindsets that are the same, it's just like, wow. I just sit back and like, if everybody can have these ways of thinking, and if everybody can just have these principles, like the way of thinking, I think everybody would be
people from here
be way off. Yeah.
So what's the average day like for you? Like just off the wake up, like what's a quick day? Like?
Amazing. That's the.
I
wake up great.
Yeah.
I wake up great. 7 in the morning.
He said I wake up great.
Every day.
Yeah. Every
day. One day, oh man, this is exciting. We at the breakfast table. It's like 7 of us, and it was a holiday. I didn't know it was a holiday, so I said, "Yo," I said, I told somebody that I didn't know that it was a holiday.
Yeah.
So my friend was like, "How you know it was a holiday?" And I said, "Cause I don't know that it was a holiday, because every day is a holiday." Rick said, "You hear that, y'all? That's like a free Negro right there." Everybody started laughing. But at the end of the day, every day fucking holiday to me, Wayne. Right. Every day. And it's greatness. And it's greatness because, not because of what's in my mind. It's just because I know that I'm about to head towards another day of greatness. I have another day to make it again.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have another day to make something happen again every day. So it's just excitement. You know what I mean? But I'm back here, and I want to talk with April. April has a lot in store with us, you know what I mean? With Rick, with the city, with the community, and I want to touch on that, if you don't mind.
Definitely,
Go ahead, by all means.
April,
you want to talk about it?
No, I mean, that's why, what Rick and Echo is doing, living life, that's why we asked them to come here. You know what I mean? We got a lot of kids with a lot of talent that's just throwing it away. And they really think that success is having $1 million. And that's really not it. Like, just living, being able to live, you know what I mean, and be aware of your surroundings, just to be aware, is a gift. You know what I mean? So it's like seeing my brother grow, in these last 8 months. I never in a million years thought he could find somebody that could, pull that out of him. You know what I mean? So, first thing I told him was, live it up, learn, educate yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything up that man is doing.
Right.
But also, send some of that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Send some of that back. It's not necessarily money, you know what I mean, but the knowledge, whatever you're learning.
Energy.
You know what I mean? If you got an extra plane ticket or extra seat on the bus that we can send somebody with, come bring me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
and it's easy to do that because, like with Rick, he want to see people win.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you see a man, when you see a man like Rick Ross, which is like very rare.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to ask a man for nothing. You don't want to ask a man for nothing, you know what I mean? And you kind of scared to even ask him for anything, you feel me? But when a man tells you that that he want to see you win, take this, take that. Don't be afraid. Fear is nothing. Then, ask questions and then, just ask him to make it happen. It feels better to bring him to YC with no problem.
Right.
Knowing that it's just nothing but love. Because at the end of the day, he wants to see people win.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And, he makes you feel very, very, very comfortable with any situation at hand.
Right.
Any situation at hand, And it's just bringing him back again. It's just it's a humbling blessing because everybody needs to learn something. Yeah. I believe that my city needs something. You know what I mean? Big up to my man Jamil too for always.
Yeah, definitely.
For always making me stay humble, stay focused.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to share with you. But
my bad. Go ahead.
And just to let everybody know, Echo, even though he's not here, he's doing a lot. We have the Miss Fawn Brown frame, a contest for African Americans that hasn't been done since the 60s. You know what I mean? But we have those types of etiquette classes, you know, to build the youth. You know, our young African American youth. You know, not just African American, but Hispanic as well. You know what I mean? They need to know, you know, we're all the same culture.
Right.
So, you know, besides those etiquette classes, you know, we're building them up in fitness. You know, we're teaching them how to brand themselves. You know, find out who they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we're also exposing them to life. You know, how to be positive. So we're, you know, hopefully connecting to people like Wayne and what he's doing with the Train Boo, because that's an excellent platform for our youth. You know, to expose their greatness.
Yes, it is.
A lot of them don't know that they're great already. You know what I mean? So if we can connect to people like Ross just to give them that validation, you know, that's what we're going to do.
Definitely.
Let me make it happen for you. That's what we're here for, yeah.
Do you believe, like, Ross, do you believe, like, I know that dealing with developing the next generation of thinkers and the next generation of doers and achievers, do you think that there's a need, like, because like I said, I often think, how can we change them? How can we instill new principles or just better principles into the youth so we can build a better future? Do you think there's a need for a certain type of system? And not when I say system, I say it lightly, like people like you reaching out to them in these small cities that are affected, but building some kind of bigger network. Do you think that's the way we can do it? Is there one answer? Is there two answers, or is this just something that we just have to naturally just come to?
Well, I believe that networking is the key. Mm-hmm. You got to network. You know, without networking, it's just you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, by yourself. So you definitely need a team of people that is pushing the same agenda. What I believe that has gotten lost is that this system doesn't know that there's a system
Right.
that could rebuild this system. And I believe that we got lost somewhere down the line with how it was done.
Right.
Or if it was ever really done in this country. You know what I'm saying? This country was built off the backs of slaves, so they cheated anyway. You know, you had people who worked for you for free for 400 years. They might get mad at me for saying this too.
It's funny because when I say stuff like that, people just don't, like, it's crazy. Like, people really can't wrap their head around the fact that that was a reality, that that's a fact.
Yeah.
It was free. Like, when they say, well, I didn't do it, you didn't do anything. It's just, but you can't deny that you weren't born with this natural advantage.
Exactly. That your great-grandfather got you,
evolution.
That paid for your college degree. The only thing you got out of it was your college degree paid for, but that's an advantage.
Right. There's these advantages that they inherited for hundreds of years based off of how the system was set up back then. And that's why when I think about that, I think about how much of them, you know, how much of them benefit from that, and they don't even know it. Like, when they tell me that, I believe that they don't think that they were... I believe that when they say that because they can't wrap their head around it.
But just because you think something don't make it true.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And I believe that is one of the main reasons that this whole system is not functioning properly. Right. That's why we are $40 or $50 trillion in debt to China, because China has figured it out that this is how it has to work. You can't depend on what the slaves did, you know, 70 years ago or 60 years ago and continue to benefit off of that, and it don't catch up with you. Right. All that stuff, I mean, it's just the laws of nature. Whatever you do eventually catches up to you. And if you don't learn these principles, then eventually this system is going to catch up, and then you're going to find yourself, you know, like the Bible says, the top on the bottom and the bottom on the top.
I'm starting to see remnants of that now.
And that's because of the way evolution works. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't stay still. You are a revolving system, and I believe that the system stopped revolving, and it never really worked for us since we've been over here, but is going to start to work because we're going to learn the principles first, because we're under so much pressure. And
it seems like when I listen to what your path now, it seems like you kind of become like this sort of like a nucleus for this new way of thinking and this new network of people who are trying to do all sorts of positive things, like April, like Echo, and I'm pretty sure you've reached out to multiple people around the country, around the world maybe, that are trying to do the same thing that they're trying to do to uplift their community.
We have been.
It's pretty incredible.
We have been. And one of the main things, that I would tell most people, even I spoke to a guy the other day when I first got here, and he has a nonprofit, and he's looking for money, and I was like, there ain't no money in this. Homie, if you looking for somebody to come and give you some money, you gonna be looking, because they ain't gave me no money yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you see us out there on the road, we funding ourselves. We're generating our money as we go. You know what I'm saying? And it looks glamorous and fun, but it's hard work.
Right.
It's hard for us to continue to generate money to stay out there, because it's expensive to be on the road. And people think, oh, well, you got a major book publishing company. No, we don't have no major book publishing company. We don't have nobody giving us a budget and paying for hotel rooms. And
grinding it out.
We grinding it out, and that's the way that we are going to have to do it, is we're going to have to grind our way back into
top.
Positions.
But you also got to tell them that net worth, what you said about having a network, your network is your net worth.
Right.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, I may not have $1 million, but I'm connected to somebody that has $1 million.
Right.
So, like, we have an organization called Lexi, the League of Exceptional Individuals. We are like a nucleus to change. Like, if I don't have something my partner does, that's just like that kid having access to what that person has. I didn't know that my friend owns a chain of McDonald's.
Right.
Wow, now I have access to feed the homeless kids I have. I'm not only a chef, but there's some kids that don't want none of my food, even though it's good. They're addicted to McDonald's. They're addicted to what they know. But again, I don't eat McDonald's, but my friend do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So building your network, that is definitely building your net worth. And that's how, like, building these kids' brands, like what Ross is doing. Like, books. A lot of people, again, don't read.
Right.
But there's some people that here read, and now they want to pick up a book. But just your network can help you build your brand. Once you figure out who you are, that's your food brand, your clothing brand, your book brand, whatever that is. But build your network.
And to touch on that, the book is definitely doing very well. You know what I mean? I think we had like 36,000.
Something like that.
37,000. And our goal is to reach 100,000.
I was just about to ask, what's the goal? What's the ultimate goal?
Yeah, the goal is definitely to hit 100,000. So we're going to be pushing this until then.
Right.
And when it's over, we got another book coming out.
Definitely.
Another book coming out. We got another book coming out. Got some movie deals online. We got so much.
And Echo gonna do his book.
Yeah. We got a book coming
I
out.
like that. He's already putting it out
What's
there.
the title? What's the title? Can we get the title?
Not the title. Yeah, I can tell you this though.
Well, do you have it? Do you have a title?
I don't have a title.
Okay,
yet.
all right.
I had a title, but it was already taken. On the road, I was gonna call it on the freeway with Freeway Rick Ross. But his book is called what, Rick?
Riding with Rick.
Riding with Rick.
Too close.
Too close. Yeah. But what y'all have to know is that I have another book coming out. That's why I want to appreciate Rick for just giving me the crazy opportunity to do so much up in life that I never even thought of. And I'll probably tell you my second one. I'm going to tell you, me and Rick was riding, probably like 4 days ago. And Rick looked at me. He said, Echo, he said, when I met you, you was talking about music and trying to get a music store.
Yeah.
And I laughed. I was like, yeah. But the purpose, what he was saying was, now what you think about?
Right.
I don't think about that no more.
Yeah, you passed it.
Way past that.
Right.
Broaden my horizon, seeing the world and seeing so much different things, like, wow.
Yeah.
So I laughed and he said that because that used to be me.
Right.
Now I'm a new me,
That's what's up.
So okay, back to my thing, the book. I got 2 books coming out. I got a photo book coming out. And the photo book came from me taking pictures of Rick, real pictures of Rick Ross. And I was like, well, Dad, we should have a little book of Rick coming out. And so I'm working on that now. It's gonna be that's gonna be Rick Ross's photo book made by me. And that's my second joint coming out. So try to do a little TV show that I want coming out. Try to do it by the end of this year, hopefully. You know what I mean? Try to look for management. You know what I mean? My man over there, my man Hayes, hold me down. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I got a lot of things been coming out. A lot of things. My book definitely will be coming out.
This year?
My photo book will be coming out. Probably this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you say photo book, is that a book? Like, just explain that for the people that might be listening. Is that a book of just all pictures?
I was told we talk about it because I got so much.
Okay.
But But I can't say this. There's going to be a book of photos in there, yes, and it's going to have a little bit more digital things in it. So it's going to be like more futuristic in it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be something else that the world going to appreciate.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, Rick don't have he don't have his own photo book yet.
Okay.
With him doing personal things that it's like real pictures of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know,
Okay.
Him drinking, him eating, him putting on socks. You know, things that you never see. The pictures down with. You know what I mean? You know, so it's gonna be some cool pictures in there.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So Rick, like when it's all said and done, man, because it's just crazy just how you were able to transform and have so many different purposes on this earth that you set for yourself. You leave prison, you come home and you got a new purpose that you set out. And now you're living it. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it. When it's all said and done, bro, what would you like for people to say for this last thing that you're doing here? Not last, but this is like the latest this is the latest purpose that you set for yourself. What are you trying to accomplish right now? I know you want to spread awareness for your story, your life.
Well, you know, if people just say he helped other people, that'd be good enough for me.
Respect.
I respect that, man.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, that'd be good enough. I mean, that would set me apart from so many other people.
Yes.
Because so many people don't help nobody.
Right.
You know, and for me to be a helper of others, I think that would be a good thing to be remembered by.
That's almost enough said.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Wow,
this
Rick,
was amazing, man. This was a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
This was a pleasure.
I'm gonna co-sign for Rick. You know what I mean? I'm with him every day, and that was definitely something that I want to give him as well.
Right.
And I tell him I appreciate him almost every day. You know,
That's what's up.
I just wanted to say, man, also, you know, like once again, man, honestly, Rick, man, this shit is crazy to me, man. I can't believe I'm sitting across the table from you, man. Like, it really is surreal. I don't mean to fan out or nothing. But I want to just, you know, I want to say, like, I wish you luck, you know, I wish you blessings, and I really hope that you're able to find people along your journey that have that same feeling in your heart that you're traveling the world with. You know what I'm saying? Because I know exactly what you, I don't know exactly what you, but I have a very good idea of what you're trying to spread, and I have a very good idea of the type of energy you're trying to put out to the rest of the world. And I really, really hope that you find people that share that same energy, man.
Definitely.
So...
Appreciate it.
Thanks again, Rick, Echo, April, for tuning in.
Hold on, though. Like, you know, we got something to say, though.
Oh, good. Let's go. Let's go.
Rick, talk about the movies, man. Talk about your book. Talk about everything, man. Talk about social media. Let them know.
Yeah, shout out your social media.
Let them know everything that you got, you know. What's coming up? What you got?
They'll be announcing it tomorrow about the TV series. You know, I signed a deal with a TV series, the movie.
Nice.
We got most of the money in the bank. We're hoping to be shooting the movie this summer. I mean, you know, those are just things that I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget. I'm doing so much stuff. I forget stuff sometimes. But
yeah, you do a lot, man.
Indica. We also working with Indica to allow more blacks to get involved with the cannabis industry, the legal cannabis industry. I'm working with Bo Money with that.
Nice.
I don't know, man. I'm a vegan. I got so many things I'm doing. You know, it's just hard to
eating, y'all.
It's just hard to get them all out.
It is.
How do you transition from? Was that recent? Like you going from eating meat to just being a vegan?
I've been a vegan for 30 years. Yeah. So it's been a while.
Was it a hard transition?
No, it started off as a bet, you know, and I guess once you break the first few days, you know, the first 5 days, you know, to get the addiction over with, then it becomes easier. Yeah. But I can't even remember now, man. It's been so long. You know, people ask me, do you miss meat? And I'll be like, I don't know.
I mean, you eat it so long. So.
Yeah.
As far as the movie, is it going to be filmed like all over the United States or just certain you got? Or can you speak on that?
Just probably California. You know, mostly California. It might be a few other places, but the main focus will be California.
That's what's up.
You said you got a series, right?
A TV series, yeah.
Yo, I wanted to say something. That was a brilliant idea because one of the things that I really, really, really get frustrated with is when they try to when Hollywood or just the entertainment industry takes a person with such a big story and tries to make it into a 1 hour and 30 minute. You can't do that. I think I think a person, especially like you, a TV series is great because you can stay hooked and you can really get into the nitty gritties of certain parts that you want to amplify in your life story. So brilliant.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do that, and we're still gonna do the movie as well.
Yeah.
So I think that it's worth both.
Right. Yeah,
the story
absolutely,
deserves
absolutely.
both the movie and the TV series. So we're gonna shoot for both of them, and you know, just keep on pushing, man, and keep trying to keep good, truthful content coming.
Well, they can find the book at Rick.
They can get the book at my website, freewayrickross.com, freewayrickyross.com, and you know, order the book, the T-shirts, and everything else right there at the website.
That's dope, man.
Social media.
Go check us out. Freeway Ricky on Instagram, Twitter, and Freeway Rick Ross on Facebook.
Yeah, that's dope, man. All right, well, I guess Wayne, you got anything else you want to say, man?
No, I just want to say I appreciate you for being here. You know, like I said,
appreciate y'all, man.
Like I said earlier, it's like you know, you see Breakfast Club and you see
hopefully
Vlad,
we bust some game, man.
Yeah,
busting it up.
That's all. We're trying to bust it up. I want to say thanks to April and Echo for being a part of this too, and like putting this together for me and for the people and for Rick and for everybody. So you know, I appreciate y'all.
This was dope, man. Buzzing up episode 2. Wow, episode 2. What an episode, man. All right, man.
Well, see, like that. PA 717. Let's
Shout
go.
out to all the sponsors, baby. You already know. Peace. We buzzing straight through the glass, kicking down the door fast. Gotta take it, never ask. Selling probably never last. We buzzing straight through the glass,